Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Shami iti namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirbhishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna. You can move up a little bit if you want, if you don't mind. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, 51st verse. Maharaj Nimi meets the 9 yogendras, Navi yogendras. Okay. So I'll chant, you chant. Is that okay? Na yasya janma karma bhyam na varnashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehe vaisa hare priya na yasya janma karma bhyam na varnashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehe vaisa hare priya. Please chant. Na yasya janma karma bhyam asartashrama jati bhi smisminnaham bhavo dehi vaisa hare priya. Na yasya janma karma bhyam na vanashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehi vaisa hare priya. Na yasya janma karma bhyam na vanashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehi vaisa hare priya. Na yasya janma karma bhyam na varnashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehi vaisa hare priya. Vaishnavis. Na yasya janma karma bhyam na varnashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehe vaisa hare priya. One more. Na yasya janma karma bhyam na varnashrama jati bhi sajjate sminnaham bhavo dehe vaisa hare priya. Na, there is not, yasya, of whom, janma, by good birth, karma bhyam, of meritorious acts, na, not, varna ashrama, by adherence to rules of occupational or religious duty, jati bhi, or by belonging to a certain class of society, sajjate, attaches itself, asmin, in this body, aham bhava, egotistic sentiment, Dehe, in the body, by indeed, sa, he, Hare, to Lord Hari, Priya, is dear. Just a little comment. You know, the dot under the H is usually pronounced, technically it's supposed to be pronounced aha. You know that. I don't always do it because Srila Prabhupada didn't always do it. But technically it's aha, just as the devotee here said. Yeah. So, it's a long translation. Birth in an aristocratic family and the execution of austere and pious activities certainly cause one to take pride in himself. Similarly, if one enjoys a prestigious position within society because his parents are highly respected members of the Varnashram social system, one becomes even more infatuated with himself. But if despite these excellent material qualifications, one does not feel even a tinge of pride within himself, he is to be considered the dearmost servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Oh. Should we try to repeat that one? It's a long verse. Is that okay? All right. Oh, do we have another microphone in case I want somebody else to? Yeah, okay, good, okay. Okay, I say, you say, okay? All right. Birth in an aristocratic family. Does that apply to anybody here? But more than me anyway, for sure. And the execution of austere and pious activities certainly cause one to take pride in himself. Similarly, if one enjoys a prestigious position within society because his parents are highly respected members of the Varnashram social system, one becomes even more infatuated with himself. But if despite these excellent material qualifications, one does not feel even a tinge of pride within himself, he is to be considered the dearmost servitor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I know that many of you, English is not your first language. And no, I'm from the United States, and it's said that a person who knows, oh, Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Jai Jai. A person who knows two languages is called bilingual. A person who knows three languages is called trilingual, bilingual, trilingual. And a person who knows one language is called an American. That's right. So anyway, but because English is not necessarily your first language, so this word infatuated, the word infatuated, I thought perhaps you know. Does anybody know the meaning of infatuated? What's that? Attached, yes. Deeply affected by. Yeah, just very infatuated means I'm very proud and self-absorbed in this, I think. Like someone might have a PhD, so I'm thinking I'm really great. I'm I'm really absorbed in thinking that way. Or I'm very handsome or very beautiful. This is somebody who's constantly thinking and just focused on that aspect of themselves. That's it's like an extreme pride. Yeah. Any other words that we should talk about in that? Yeah. Okay, infatuated. That's so. The point of the verse was, without looking, in your own words, in just a brief statement, can anybody say what the point of the verse is? What the understanding of the verse is? Yes.
So the main point is, even if we are very opulent material-wise, even if that we didn't take pride in that, then we are most to the Lord.
Yes, and there was a certain word there about the pride. Did you get that? It says, even, starts with a T, tinge. You know what a tinge is? Tinge is just a tiny, tiny bit. A tiny bit. Because, there's different levels of pride. Infatuation means big, big pride, lots of pride. And tinge means even a little pride, but not even a little pride. You could flip it. The side is when Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Gopinathacharya were having a discussion about Lord Chaitanya and his being an incarnation. And Gopinathacharya was saying, Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, nah. There's no incarnation in Kali Yuga. So Gopinathacharya then quoted all these verses from Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharata, etc. But Sarvabhauma discounted them. So then Gopinathacharya, he said, Atapi te deva padambujadvayam prashalodeshano grihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno charanti nachanyam ekopi charan vichinvan. He said, you might go on speculating in your life for thousands and thousands of years, but you won't be able to understand Krishna anyway. But if you get prashaduleshan means just a drop of mercy. And we're saying like a tinge, just a little bit. How much mercy does Krishna and the spiritual master have to give? An ocean. And all you want is a little drop. Doesn't seem like big, right? Just a drop is enough. So that's the flip side. They're here saying you can have you can be completely infatuated or even have a tinge of it, but still that disqualifies us. But Krishna says he's very kind and is ready to give his mercy to those who don't have even one tinge or drop of pride about these things. Does that, you follow? Yeah, okay. Who would like to read the first paragraph of the purport? Any volunteers? Over here's closer, we'll do it. See behind you?
According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the word Janma, good birth, refers to such class as the Murdva Vasiktas, children of Brahmana's father and Kshatriya mothers, and Ambasthas, children of Brahmana father and Vaishya mothers, both of which are the considered Anuloma, since the father comes from a higher caste. Marriage in which the mother comes from a higher class than the father are called Pratiloma. In any case, one who becomes proud of his so-called prestigious birth is certainly in the bodily concept of life. Birth in any material body is a serious problem, which one should solve by surrendering to the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. One can thereby release himself from the golden shackles of a so-called aristocratic material body.
Thank you. And you got the point. Why in the purport here is Srila Prabhupada saying the golden shackles? Did you catch this point? The golden shackles? Who can explain why he says golden shackles? Oh, look at the...
Although we have received such a higher birth in a prestigious family, still we are bound by material nature. So Prabhupada mentions that some other, maybe there is iron shackle or gold shackle, but still we are bound by the material nature and existence.
Yes, very good, very good. So if you're bound by golden shackles or bound by iron shackles, you're still bound. Silver shackles, diamond shackles, it's still binding. You can't get out. You're stuck. Yeah. So the body might be a very good body, or a lousy body, or in between body. We all have different kinds of bodies, but each body, by its nature, is bound by, death. Not a nice thing. Old age, disease, and then rebirth. Thank you. Who would like to read the second paragraph? There was a devotee over here. If we had somebody to run the thing, maybe.
Hare Krishna. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Kanishta Adhikaris think that Karma and Mishra Bhakti or devotional service mixed with material endeavor is the ultimate in spiritual life. They become attached to verses such as this: Varna Ashrama Charavata Purushena Parapuman Vishnu Aryadhyade Panta Nanyat Tat Tosha Karanam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by the proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashrama. There is no other way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must be situated in the institution of 4 Varnas and Ashramas. Vishnu Puran 3.8.9. Thus they think that material work in which a portion of the fruits are offered to God forms the highest platform of human life. According to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there are several Smriti literatures that have encouraged such mixed devotional service. Such books are taken by materialistic devotees as facility for offending the holy name of the Lord because of egoistic attachment to the material body. Thus one thinks that a prestigious position in the Varnashrama system according to birth and so-called pious activities in a prerequisite for becoming successful in life. But those who
that's the end of that paragraph. Thank you. Thank you. That's an important, interesting point Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is making. It says, such books which talking about the importance of fruitive activities and giving a little bit to Krishna, as some materialistic devotees use that as a facility for offending the holy name of the Lord. Can you give any examples or any instances where that could take place? Yeah, go ahead. Here's that. Go ahead. You say.
Hare Krishna. Smart Brahmanas, they complained to Kaji that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers are loudly chanting the holy names. So they were
trying to stop that. Yeah. Even in the early days of the Juhu temple, and some of you probably know the history, Srila Prabhupada became annoyed about something because the people were saying, chanting Hare Krishna, it's a nuisance. Remember that? Yeah. Similar, as you point out, to the Hindus in Navadvip. They're saying, they're chanting loudly. Not only they're chanting, but these people who don't have any, they're not from Brahmin families, they're chanting, and they're going to ruin the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's going to lose its potency. Yeah? As if chanting the Hare Krishna mantra was something of the material karma kanda system. Yeah. Golokera prema dhan harinam sankirtan. Transcendental chanting of the holy name is coming from the spiritual world. So good point. Thank you. Any other examples you might think of? Just trying to make it relevant. Okay. Who would like to read the next paragraph? Prabhu.
But those who have actually taken shelter of the holy name of Krishna never boast about their birth in the material world, nor do they pride themselves on their so-called expertise in material work. As long as one's mentality is encumbered by the material designations of the Varnashram system, one has very little chance of becoming free from material bondage and establishing himself as dear to the Lord. In this regard, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphatically declared that he could not identify himself with any Varnashrama designation, such as that of a great intellectual or priest, a courageous warrior in the Lord's army, a brilliant businessman making money for the Lord, or the hardest worker for the Lord. Nor could Chaitanya Mahaprabhu identify himself as a stalwart brahmachari, a noble householder, or an exalted sannyasi. These designations reflect the material pride that can infiltrate the execution of devotional service. Although a devotee may carry out the standard duties of Varnashrama, his only designation is Gopi Bhartohu Pad Kamalayor Dasa Dasanu Dasaha, the eternal servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord, the master of the gopis, Krishna.
Thank you. Maybe some of you know that whole the beginning of that verse. Gopi Bharata, you know? Anyone? Very important verse in the Krishna consciousness movement. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, do you know when he spoke that verse? Ending with Gopi Bharata Bharata. You know when he spoke that verse? Yeah, it was during the Ratha Yatra. The Ratha Yatra. And the first prayer he said to Lord Jagannath, you might know. Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Then he chanted Jayati Jayati. Then the fourth one he chanted was this verse. Naham Vipro Nachanat Narapatir. You know this one. Okay. So very, very important verse. And Lord Chaitanya is giving us the example here. Thank you. One last paragraph of the purport? Or should I just read it? Oh, here we have a volunteer here. Thank you. Thank you. Nicely done. Nicely done.
According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when a devotee understands that the process of Bhakti Yoga is complete in itself, and he becomes absorbed in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, the supremely merciful personality of Godhead affectionately lifts such a first-class devotee unto his own lap. The Supreme Lord can be pleased only by unalloyed devotion and not by any arrangement of the gross body composed of 5 material elements, or the subtle body composed of innumerable speculations and bogus pride. In other words, Lord Krishna can never be pleased by one so-called aristocratic body, which is due to be devoured by worms or vultures. If one becomes proud of his material birth and so-called pious activities, by such false pride, one gradually develops the impersonal mentality of merely renouncing the fruit of work, or else the karmi mentality of enjoying the fruits of work. Neither the karmis nor the jnani speculators are aware that the fruit of work actually belongs to Krishna. The conclusion is that one should carefully give up all false pride and always remember that he is a humble servant of Krishna, as stated by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Amanina Manadena Kirtanya Sadahari.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Sham Rupakatamaikam Dadati Shapandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all. Begging your permission and blessings to say a few words about this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And if there's anyone, he might be senior by age or advancement in Krishna consciousness, I need their permission to speak. Hare Krishna. So, you know this chapter. Are you following this chapter? Yeah, so it began with Narad Muni approaching who? Vasudev. Vasudev. And Vasudev was inquiring about he said he wanted to know the principles of Bhagavat Dharma. Bhagavat Dharma. And Srila Prabhupada there equates Bhagavat Dharma with pure devotional service. Shuddha Bhakti. Bhagavat Dharma and Shuddha Bhakti he equates. And this is very, very interesting because this is the whole essence of all Dharma, and it's the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam, isn't it? And Srimad Bhagavatam is just discussion and illustrations from various points of view about the same, and illustrations about the same issue again and again. What is pure devotional service? How is it performed? Who is doing it? Right from the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, what is the second verse? Dharma prochita kaitavota paramo nirmatsaranam satam. Srimad Bhagavatam, there's so many literatures and so many parts of the Vedic literature, but this Srimad Bhagavatam is keeping aside or kicking out those that are not dealing with what? Pure devotional service, Bhagavad Dharma. Yeah. Nigabakalpataror galitam palam. This is the fruit of the tree of Vedic literature. A tree is known by its fruit. So the fruit of the Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavad Dharma. And then shortly thereafter, we see Vyasadeva has written all the Vedic literature, but what was the problem? He was dissatisfied, even though he was the author of so many Vedic. What was the problem? He didn't sufficiently explain Bhagavad Dharma directly. Isn't this very important, very important? And then we learn very shortly in the second chapter, Savai pungsam puro dharmo yato bhaktir arhoksaje ahoitikiya pratiyata yayatma subrasidati. The essence, the topmost dharma is not Hinduism, Islam, Christianity. But it's that religion that will give you love of God. That's Krishna consciousness, or in other words, Bhagavad Dharma. This is again and again, repeatedly. So this question by Vasudeva was very, very poignant, very important. And then Narad, who was actually empowered to teach Bhagavad Dharma all over the universe. All of his disciples are known. Dhruva Maharaj. Who else? Prahlad Maharaj. Who else? Vyasadeva. Who else? Huh? I can't. Pracheta. Yeah, all. So, yeah. Balmiki. All. I mean, so many. He is empowered to give Bhagavad Dharma. And then he responds to Vasudeva's question. These questions are really, really important. These questions. And he says, how does he respond to Vasudeva's question? He doesn't say, well, I think that this. He doesn't say. Then he quotes from authorities. Who is he quoting? Now he's quoting from the 9 sons of Rishabdev. Rishabdev was an incarnation of Krishna. He had 100 sons. You know this. And his 100 sons, just before he renounced the kingdom, he had some strong words for his children. Parents know this. Sometimes they got to be tough with kids. Does that ever happen? Does it happen? No? Yes? You have to be tough with your kids. Yeah. Otherwise they grow up spoiled, isn't it? So Rishabdev said, Nayam deho deha bhajam niloke kashtam kaman arati bid bhujange. He said, my dear boys, who are sitting there, don't become like the hog. Strong language, isn't it? Don't be a hog. And there's two kinds of hogs. You know there's two kinds of hogs? You know this? One is in the forest and one is in the city or the village. The forest hog is better than the city hog. You know why? You know why? What's that? Yeah, the city hog goes after anything. Will eat even stool. That's like, whereas the forest hog, they're a little cleaner. So he said, Bidbujang means the city hog. Don't become like city hogs. Tapodivyam putrakarena sattvam shutyat brahma sokyam tvanantam. No, you have to use this human form of life. Use this human form of life to perform austerities and become Krishna conscious and enjoy unlimited transcendental happiness. So these 9 sons, they're called the Navayogendras, they took up his instructions. So they're coming to in the palace of Maharaj Nimi, and Maharaj Nimi is asking them, you tell me. And he's answering, there's 9 sons. The first one is Kavi, then there's Havi. This is Havi today answering the question. And the question specifically that Havi is answering is he wants to know what are the symptoms of a actual person who understands Bhagavad Dharma, who's really a pure devotee of the Lord. Why do you think this may be important? I'm asking. This is a real question. It's not just a rhetorical question. Why is it important to know who might be a pure devotee of the Lord? You can use this. Any? Yes, here we have. Wait.
To follow them.
So to understand who's a pure devotee, very important. We can know, because in general, people, we don't know where we're doing. Andayatandirupanyamanas, that we're blind people in this world. We're born ignorant. And we need an example and a person to follow who's got their eyes wide open. If you're following a person who's also blind and you're blind, what's going to happen? Is that going to be good for you? You're blind and a blind person is leading you. What's going to happen? You both fall out. You just get messed. Yeah. So you need to find a person who's got their eyes wide open. Om agyanati mirandasya gyananjana shalakaya chakshurun militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Yudhishthira Maharaj said that also. He was asked by the Yaksha in Yaksha Prashna, how can you understand religion? How do you understand it? There's so many shastras. There's so many shastras. There's so many different ideas. Every muni, every sage, every great they have a different idea. So how can we understand what to do in life? Then he said, you know what he said? Mahajano Jena Gata Sapanta. You have to find that great soul, the Mahajan, and you follow in their footsteps. And that's how you can understand the principle of religion. So such an important thing, this question. Any other reason why we need to know who is what are the qualities or the characteristics of a Mahabhagavat or a pure devotee? Oh. Good. Yes, yeah.
Hare Krishna. So sometimes may be cheated by some so-called sadhu if we don't know the real qualities of a sadhu.
Very good. So there's 2 things in spiritual life. There's to know the truth, and also part of knowing the truth is also to know untruth. Just knowing the truth in of itself without knowing the untruth is sometimes gets you, without knowing the untruth, sometimes you can get mixed up. Vidyam cha vidyam tayas, tad vidobhayam saha. You have to know the truth and the untruth side by side, otherwise you won't get the full blessings of immortality. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada's guru, was very strong in this point. He introduced this very strongly because there's a tradition or a custom, especially in India, that you don't say anything negative about another person or another path. You know this. Srila Prabhupada was here on Juhu beach. And you know he used to take his morning walk here. He'd go to the beach in the morning, and which way would he turn? He would do left. He'd go work left there, and then come back. And there was one doctor who used to often come with him. And you know him. And he would often put up arguments to Srila Prabhupada. And he would say, "Oh, I'm a Vaishnav." But he would often present arguments that would indicate that he was really not a Vaishnav. So, one time, Srila Prabhupada told the story of devotees wanted to know, how can we tell, is he really a Vaishnav or is he not a Vaishnav? And Prabhupada told the story about a man who spoke many languages expertly. You know the one, eh? And he wouldn't say what is his native language. And people would try to get him to tell, but he would never tell. And so one man said, "I'll get him to tell." So you know what he did? You remember what he did? You know the story. He came up behind him and gave a slap. And the man turns around and starts cursing in his natural language. So Srila Prabhupada had that day, he had said something critical about a particular Mayavadi sannyasi. And the doctor had become very angry. Slap. Interesting point. So to know the truth and to know untruth simultaneously is very helpful, very important in spiritual life. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So, Narad Muni is speaking, then he's quoting the discussion between Nimi Maharaj and Kavi, in this case, in Havi. So in here, in describing the qualities of a pure devotee, he's saying, no, even a touch of pride, even when you have a person might be from a physical or material point of view, might have cause for being proud. And really, that's the position of every one of us. Because even if we don't have a great learning and great education, bodily beauty, still we'll find something to become proud of ourselves about. Isn't it? Everybody does. You know why? Because that's how Maya, the illusory energy, keeps us in this material world. Keeps us proud of ourselves. And because one of the effects of pride is you think you're doing great. There's no need to improve. But the fact is, all of us are not yet at a level where we're going to be going back to Godhead. We're not liberated and pure devotees. So it's essential that we make further progress. And the number one block in our making further progress is pride. I'm doing pretty good. Why do I have to make any progress? Why should I listen to this person? Why should I take more trouble to do this kind of service? Isn't it? This is our. So, you know, in the Shikshashtakam. Oh, okay. Hare Krishna. You know verse 2 of the Shikshastakam. Nam nama kari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamata smaranena kala etadrashi tava kripan bhagavan mamapi dardaiva me darsamihajani nanaraga. Oh my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction upon the living beings. And therefore you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda, etc. Oh my Lord, in these transcendental names you've invested all of your transcendental potencies, and there are not even any hard or fast rules for chanting your holy name. Oh my Lord, you've so kindly made approach to you easy by your holy names, but I'm so unfortunate, I have no attraction for them. Lord Chaitanya is taking our position. And then, in the very next verse, get this, in the very next verse, what did Lord Chaitanya say previously? There's no hard and fast rules for chanting, isn't it? Isn't it? No hard and fast rules for chanting. And in the very next verse, it seems like he's giving some rules. Isn't it? Isn't it? But they're not hard and fast. Even if you're puffed up, you can still chant. But if you want to chant constantly, if you want to do it with love, if you want to be able to chant to please Krishna, then what's required? Trinadapi sunichena tarodapi sahishna amanina amanadena kirtanasa. If you want taste, that's the secret. Lord Chaitanya is giving us that secret. It's a wonderful thing. So the Krishna consciousness movement is wonderful for the world because it's bringing us to a position of understanding our position as humble servants of God, not great, but very tiny servants of God through the auspices of the Guru, the spiritual master. Very important point. So, I know it's already 9 o'clock, so I'm supposed to stop. I know that. I'll just go a couple of minutes, no more, I promise. But, you know, the verse was quoting about Varnashrama, and when Ramananda was speaking with Lord Chaitanya said, tell me what the proper way to make advancement is in. And the first thing Ramananda Roy was said, we got to follow the Varnashram system. You got to follow Varnashram and do your duty according to the Varnashram, Varna and Ashram. So what did Lord Chaitanya say? Ehobhaya, yeah, that's external. That's external. Why is it external? Why external? It's good. Usually, if you ask people what the message of Bhagavad-gita is, you ask them, what is Krishna saying? What do they say? Do your duty, isn't it? Do your duty. That's so you're saying that the Bhagavad-gita is external. But it's not just do your duty. That's not the Bhagavad-gita. The Bhagavad-gita is do your duty that satisfies Krishna. Do your duty in a way that satisfies Krishna. That's the point. That's the point. Otherwise, Arjuna said, he was a smart person. He says, Karpanya dosho pataso dharma samudda cheta. I have no idea what my duty is, my dharma. Because there's many different dharmas, even in your varna and ashram. So how do you know what to do? How do you know how to follow your duty in such a way that it satisfies Krishna? How do you know how to do that? That you require guru. That you require guru. So that's so important here. You follow. The guru tells you, the guru gives detailed instruction about how you can do your duty in such a way that satisfies Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, one final example. This is told by Brahmananda Prabhu. So he was working as some kind of teacher counselor in New York, and he would make a salary, but he was living, becoming a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada said, you should use your salary for service of Krishna. Okay. But he was puzzled. Because he said, he asked Prabhupada, how do I do that? How do I use my salary in the service of Krishna? So you know what Prabhupada said? You know? He said, so you give it to me and I'll use it in the service of Krishna. Not a trick, it's a fact. It's a fact. Because the Guru knows how to engage the disciple in the service of Krishna. Right? How do you do? Atam pumbir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagasha swanustitasya dharmasya sangsadir haritoshanam. The perfection of your duty is if you can please Hari. And how do you know how to please Hari? Because you're guided by the spiritual master. He or she knows how to please Krishna. I don't know. I don't know how to please Krishna. He knows or she knows how to please Krishna, and he can teach us. Therefore they're called Acharya. Therefore they're Guru. So in the Krishna consciousness movement, it's essential that we take very seriously consideration about following the instructions of the spiritual master without changing them, with even a little bit, and follow the line of disciplic succession. You know, Vedic teachings were passed down from spiritual master to disciple for thousands of years. The Vedic mantras, you know, Rig Veda, Sama Veda. And what would happen if the student, one student thought, well, I'm going to change a little bit. You know, after 300 years, one student changed a little bit. They added a couple of, then another student. What's going to happen? Sakalini mohata yogo nashta paranta. The thing will be lost. Things will be lost. So the same way in ISKCON, we have to be very diligent to follow as Srila Prabhupada gave us and not change things. And that means, in order to do that, we have to study how he did things in all different departments, in all different ways. And then we can be sure that Krishna will be satisfied because Srila Prabhupada will be satisfied. Does that make sense? Etan nirvidyamananam ichchatam akutobayam yoginam nripanirnitam harirnam anukirtanam. He says that, Shukadev Goswami says, the doubtless and fearless way of success for all these different kinds of people, is to chant the holy names. How? Not hodgepodge or any way we want, but following the ways of the great authorities. That's doubtless and fearless. You may do it in other ways, but then you don't know if that's pleasing Krishna and going to bring you back to Godhead. You don't know. But if you follow the Acharya, then you're doubtless and fearless way of success. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Yes, sir. I took time.
Thank you so much, Puji, for wonderful class. My question is, at the last point you mentioned that we should study what Prabhupada has taught us, the process of devotional service, including chanting. Many times we hear from sometimes outside the ISKCON, there are multiple gurus or organizations, and might we have some little bit, although it's insignificant, but still we have some other impressions on our heart to follow the devotional service. So the point is we should totally follow whatever Prabhupada has said to us, but same time we have that previous impressions within our heart or contemporary impressions within our heart that, okay, these are also pure devotees and our Prabhupada is also pure devotee, and then we got stuck in that complications. So how to get over that, Prabhuji?
Your question is, there's by that other complication you're thinking you'll follow that other impression or no?
For example, if we are following others in our previous, before coming to ISKCON, so we have that little bit impressions within our heart, or even we are in ISKCON, we see some other organizations as well, and we get affected with that, their teachings. So we should cultivate that, okay, Prabhupada has given, whatever Prabhupada has given is everything within. So how to develop that faith?
Yeah.
How to rectify that impressions?
Good question. Good question. I could just say from my perspective. You know, I'm from the Western countries, and in the Western countries, everybody celebrates Christmas. Okay. So, and I'd say the first year, maybe 2 years, there's some pulling. Oh, I'm not going to celebrate Christmas this year. True story. But continuing to chant Hare Krishna and put my faith in Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, those things, they clear. It's everything, the full, the spiritual master is described as the transparent via medium to Krishna. So by persevering on that path, and also, it's really important to have, as in my case, to be associating with devotees, and particularly those who are maybe more advanced or have made more progress on the path, that can solidify our faith so that one can continue and understand, yes, everything is there from Srila Prabhupada's teachings. Everything is there. There was the devotees in Germany were chanting this mantra. Shri Krishna Govinda Hari Murari Hena. You know it. Yeah. So, Srila Prabhupada called them and he said, okay, these are words of Krishna. Actually, it's a cinema song. But he said, the best thing is if you just take what the spiritual master gives you, and that's the best thing, and don't go further. Therefore, we say in the prayer in the Guru Puja, Guru Mukha Paddavakya. Guru Mukha Paddavak. You know these prayers are in Bengali, you know that? You know they're in Bengali. And so in Bengali they don't say Padma, you know what they say? Padda. You didn't know that? I'm American. Guru Mukha Paddavaka Chittete Kori Arna Koriho Mone Ash. Yeah. So I'm just taking the words, I just want to get the words from your lotus mouth. Yeah. I have no other desire. No Koriho Mone Ash, that's my only desire. And that attitude one will make rapid progress if we can fit into that attitude. It's not easy because, as you mentioned, there's all these other different ideas. Yeah. I'll give you an example, another example. I remember, Srila Prabhupada would speak about how the deity of Krishna is not an idol. Usually, from the Christian side, they always criticize worshiping deities. You're worshiping a graven image, they'll say. You know that you've heard this. And they criticize heavily. But Srila Prabhupada's argument was, it's not a graven image, because image means imagination. And there's no imagination in the form of Krishna. The form of Krishna is described elaborately in the Vedic Shastras. Benam kwanantamaravinda dalaya taksham barhavatam samasitam buddhasunda. Yeah, so it's not image. And I thought, when I heard that, I admit, I was a little offensive in my mind. I thought, Prabhupada's just juggling words. I admit, this is I thought. Image, imagination, I thought. And then one time I was looking in the dictionary, and under the word image, there was a second, in big dictionaries they have sometimes the first definition and second definition. You've seen that? So the second definition was image, something conjured up in the imagination. Exactly what Srila Prabhupada had said. But I was resistant to it because of my conditioning. So thankfully I stood around, kept around, somehow by Krishna's grace. But anyway, in that way, by continuing and staying in the association of devotees, making progress, then those things will be cleared. Yes. Because it's true.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, thank you very much. Prabhuji, here Prabhupada is saying that bodily consciousness, false prestige, that false ego create the material, means karmic tendency and jnani tendency.
Yes.
So can you elaborate it, how false ego create jnani mentality and karmi mentality?
Yeah, so if the false ego, if we're thinking, false ego means we mistakenly think we're the physical body. So if we mistakenly think we're the physical body, then naturally we're going to be thinking, what can I do? Because I'm the body, I must do something to please the body. Naturally, false ego that way. Bhagavad bhakti hinasya jati shastra japatapa apranasya eva dehasya mandanam lokaranjanam. Yeah. This is the material world. Everybody is worshipping bodies. When Srila Prabhupada went to Moscow the first time in 1971, he was on his morning walk, and there was this long line of people outside one building, and he said, "What's that?" It's 6 o'clock in the morning, and there's a line. And you know what it was? Good guess, but no. It was a line to go into Lenin's tomb. Lenin, you know, the first premier of Russia, he's got a dead body, and they have it displayed there, you know, mummified, embalmed, and people are waiting to see the dead body of Lenin early at 6 o'clock in the morning. This is the way of the world. And it's not just in Moscow. You have the same thing going on in the Taj Mahal. What's a mausoleum, right? So the people are, because of false conception of the body, now we're going to lay the person to rest. Well, the person isn't the dead body, the person left. But that's the conception. The misconception is I'm the body, false ego. And if a false ego thinks we're the mind, that when we think we're the mind, we can become pleased or satisfied by different mental juxtapositions, mental jugglery. But it's never going to work. Even if you go to the highest level of impersonal realization, still that doesn't bring you to the lotus feet of Krishna. So those things, pure devotional service, as you know, anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhyanavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. Without any desire for jnana or karma. Jnana means physical speculative knowledge, or karma. What can I get out of it? In this world, everybody's thinking, what can I get out of stuff on the material plane? But devotional service means, what can I do to satisfy my Guru and Krishna? It's flipping things around. Hare Krishna. I think we have to end here, thank you. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Shamit Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachari Nivishishya Nivari Paschachit Hidare.